Hello and welcome to the InGeneral podcast, episode 153 of the Jurassic Outpost podcast. Thank you for listening. My name is Caleb. I am joined by four composers for a special episode today. I am joined by Daryl Lee Lynn, Byron Mackay, Brooks Leiby, and Kurt Tomlinson. How's it going, guys? What's up?
Hello.
It's good.
Hello.
Holla holla.
Hi. So this is sort of a special episode in which we wanted to just discuss the news of Alexandre Desplat being announced as the composer for Jurassic World Rebirth. So before we get into that, though, I just want to go around the table really quickly because we are all Jurassic fans. Would you all say that's correct? So four or five composers here who are also Jurassic fans. So just let's go around the table really quickly. Just say like how you got into Jurassic and what your favorite sequel of the franchise is. So, Daryl, if you want to start.
I think we've said before we've just born into it when we were all kids. Some of us older than others. I think I'm the oldest in the room. I was 4 the first time I saw Jurassic Park and was absolutely blown away, terrified as well, but absolutely loved it. Been a huge dinosaur fan ever since. My favourite sequel, controversial take here, I would probably say The Lost World is my favourite of the franchise. So.
Okay. I don't know if that's that's not too controversial on this podcast, maybe. But
love that answer.
Yeah. And Daryl, you've composed some Jurassic music, right?
Yeah, some reimaginings of the themes. Got stuck in during the Fallen Kingdom era.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Made quite a few different kind of remixes, covers, I don't know what the right term would be, and then through to Dominion. We actually have worked with yourself and Kurt on the 25th anniversary piece. That was 2018.
Yeah, way back for the 25th anniversary. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Which now like the 30th anniversary has come and gone.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Awesome. And The Lost World is a solid choice. No worries there. Byron, can you tell us a little bit about your Jurassic fandom and what your favorite sequel is?
Absolutely. I was brought into Jurassic Park. I must have been 3 years old, like I'm sure many other toddlers out there. And it's just changed my life. You know, I grew up playing things like J-Pog. It's just been a huge part of my life. And in terms of the movies, I flip-flop between Jurassic Park and The Lost World.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, I don't know. You just can't beat the first film for me. It's so classic.
Absolutely. So what kind of music have you worked on? Have you worked on Jurassic stuff or?
I haven't worked on Jurassic stuff, but I have worked on Prehistoric Kingdom stuff for a little too long.
Awesome.
But
nice.
No. The past 7-8 years of my life have just been working on that game, making music when I can.
Cool.
And it's been a hell of an experience.
Nice. What's the future of that game? What's happening with it?
We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. I can't talk about too much of it beyond what we put out in our monthly devlogs, but I'm hoping to have some more music out in the next update, which will be very exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Brooks, why don't you tell us a little bit about your Jurassic background and your favorite sequel?
Yeah. So growing up, I think my initial attention to Jurassic Park was, one of my parents throwing it in the VHS or in the VCR, old terms. And it was like that and Roland Emmerich's Godzilla. They kind of magnetized off of each other. And I think that was the spark of a lot of why I am the way I am today. Favorite sequel, and I also played a lot of J-pop growing up, so that also explains a lot. But sequel, nowadays, I have a very soft spot for Jurassic Park 3.
Okay. Nice.
Something about it really has grown on me. So when I rewatch it, obviously all of the trivia and the the hell stories of how it was made and everything that went
production,
wrong. Absolutely. Like that, I think that helps it be even more interesting to me, that there's still a final product even after all of that, and it's somewhat competent.
Yeah, true.
That sounds like a low blow, but it's really, and it's especially Don Davis's score. That's the closest anyone's gotten to Williams with the Jurassic franchise, I think. It just feels properly Jurassic.
For sure. Nice. Okay. You're gonna, some listeners of this podcast are really gonna like that answer too, I think. So there's some Jurassic Park 3 fans around in general. But can you tell us about some the Jurassic music you've worked on, Brooks?
Yeah. So this year, we're wrapping Tales from a Jurassic World. I've been working on season 3 for the last few months. Ooh. And got to record some live stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. I'm still riding that high, but no, there's really, really cool stuff, and I'm proud of the last 2 seasons. It's weird to think that it's been this long working on it, but yeah,
for sure. With Tom, the legend.
Yeah, old Tommy.
And you did a live recording, right?
Yeah, we worked with Fame's project in Macedonia. 44-piece orchestra and small bit of music, but I think it's just very exciting to be able to have that opportunity with that scale of an orchestra and this type of music. So yeah, and that should be coming out later this month.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. All right, Kurt, can you tell us a little bit about your Jurassic background and your favorite sequel?
Yeah, I don't know exactly when I first saw Jurassic Park, or I just know it's been there from the very beginning. But I do have a core memory of like the arcade game, the one where you sat in the big vehicle, and I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the earlier ones, but I used to be too scared to actually play it, so I had to actually watch my stepdad play that, and so that's one of my core memories.
Nice.
I also wanted to ask though. I know this is not Jurassic Park related, but it's dinosaur related. But did anyone actually watch the show Extreme Dinosaurs? Has anybody heard of it?
I've heard of that. Yeah, I have.
I used to watch that all the time. It's a dinosaur animated show where they're like talking. It's kind of like Ninja Turtles, but they're dinosaurs.
Yes,
and
it's sort of like Street Sharks too, isn't it?
Yeah, Street Sharks. It's exactly like Street Sharks.
Interesting. That's what I was thinking.
Nobody. I feel like I'm going crazy because no one knows it. But I used to watch it all the time. But anyway, that's.
I definitely had a toy of the T-Rex from that show when I was a kid. But I don't think I knew that it was from Extreme Dinosaurs. I was just like, this is just an anthropomorphic T-Rex toy. This is cool. So, but go on.
Favorite sequel, I think it feels like generic to say, but The Lost World. I don't think I could pick any of the others over it.
No, that's totally a righteous answer. That's my answer. And that's like 4 out of the 5 of us have that answer.
I'm outnumbered.
Yeah. I totally blanked when you said sequel, by the way. I was like, Jurassic Park. I love Lost World. I adore that movie. So yeah, if we're talking sequels, Lost World for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's getting out of hand. There was 4 of them.
Well, we're about to get the 6th sequel to Jurassic Park here. We're about to get the 7th Jurassic movie in this franchise, and we had been waiting for a really long time to know who the composer was on this movie. Right? Like, we were all in a group chat together. Like, we've had a group chat. We have had a group chat planning this podcast for like 6 months.
There was a lot of rumors too.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing, is all the rumors that were flying around about John Williams and other people and all that stuff. Did you guys, were you holding out hope that it was going to be John Williams? Were you making up stories so that it could be John Williams? Or did you want it? Did you want it to be John Williams? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I think
it's tough to even think like that because he is nearing 100, and it's like, can someone, push themselves to take on such a monumental movie
And
at that
it
age.
almost feels harsh saying you want him to do it, because
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because
then he
I'm really
went back
like,
to Star Wars.
please take time to rest. Please stay with us for 100 more years is really what I would like to tell him to do.
That's the thing, though, right? Sorry, with what Daryl's saying, because he did come back for Star Wars and then
Yeah.
Indiana
Yeah.
Jones, right?
And
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
See, and that's part of what was giving me hope for a little while was like
Yeah.
the delay.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe with the delay, they're just giving him extra time because he's, taking his time. But
I was starting to believe at that point that they were gonna like do a surprise reveal or something.
Right.
yeah, I think I realized at a certain point after all this time, I was like, okay, they really must be gearing up for like a big reveal, like a big announcement. And then I was
Yeah.
like, maybe they were willing to do a big announcement and spend that money because it's John Williams, but I don't know. If
Alas.
it
We
is
make it sound like we're all disappointed.
yeah, I know. Alas, I mean, we're going to talk about our thoughts about how we feel about this choice for the movie and all that, but I've seen lots of good vibes and good reactions to the announcement, which was that Alexandre Desplat is the composer for Jurassic World Rebirth. They announced it with a video from the recording session at Abbey Road. Whoever wants to go first in whatever order, just a round table here. When y'all saw that announcement, when you saw the video and that it was Desplat, what was your reaction? What are your initial thoughts?
I wasn't disappointed. There was, even in our group chat, there was a lot of jesting. A lot of people we kind of wanted it to be. There was a few names we were really hoping it wouldn't be. And Desplat was kind of, for me at least, wasn't someone I felt either way about. So when he was announced, it was kind of, it was a bit of a relief, really. He was absolutely fantastic on Godzilla. His work on the Harry Potter films, fantastic. The actual clip they released, there was some real nostalgia, especially that first piece of music as he introduces. I'm really excited for that. There's some Jurassic themes hidden in there, the chord progressions.
Yeah,
really looking forward to that. I hope there's a lot of it.
For sure.
I actually was other than John Williams, I was kind of like when I saw the rumor from someone on Twitter that said that they had got John Williams but had to sort of replace him halfway through with Ben Wallfish. I was excited for Ben Wallfish, so I was kind of hoping for that. But when I saw that it was Desplat, that sounds like, to me, sounds like a really good. And then when I saw that there was a demo for it as well in the music, that all sounded great. But what was I going to say? I had something. I was just going to interject and say something. Wait, come back to me.
Okay. Byron, Brooks, either one?
Which one?
I am
I'll go.
more than excited for Desplat. I mean, I really like his scores even outside of Godzilla, like the piano lesson that came out last year, I think. He's very inventive. He it's like, his knowledge of the orchestra, and he can really figure out these weird ways to make new creative sounds, even auxiliary sounds outside of the orchestra. It's really interesting. And of course, I think his experience with so many different directors, from Del Toro to oh my God, what's his face? Wes Anderson, guy. That guy. Gareth Edwards. And that's cool. This is the first composer that he's like circled back on. And I wonder if this was an intentional decision, or if, because it did take so long for an announcement to be made, if there was some sort of domino effect of, one composer had to step back and whatsoever. But in the end, I'm very happy with the choice and selection of of old Alexandra.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's very much the same for me. I'm in the same camp as like I felt honestly relieved when it was announced to be him. I adore the Godzilla 2014 score, and something that's honestly been on my mind since we heard the demo is whether or not, given some of the things we know about Rebirth from the trailers, is if Desplat is going to bring back some of the synth usage that we heard in things like Dennis Stills the Embryos, because I know a big part of Godzilla's score was this kind of organic synthesis that really sat well with the orchestra. So I'm really, really curious to see what the holistic vision of the score looks like in the end.
Yeah, for sure. I share sort of that relief you were talking about, because I just really wanted something fresh for Jurassic, like just something new. No, like
Yeah.
nothing against certain previous folks, but like, I just wanted something different and new, and because that's kind of what this movie seems to be going for. It's literally called Rebirth, and like, it's a new
Right.
era of the franchise. After it ended with Dominion, so we were told, but yeah, like the relief comes from that it is someone brand new and someone that I really love his scores and really am excited to like think about what he might do for Rebirth, because he does
Yeah.
some like traditional orchestral stuff, but he also does some really weird shit sometimes, and
Yeah.
and I like that. I like weird. But with what you were saying about the synths, like it was interesting. Like in the video, he says, or either in the EW article or in the video, he says something about like a mostly orchestral score or something like that.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't pick up on that.
and
Very
so
well.
my thought was kind of like they also had like a huge choir at the session, which was, I guess, maybe what he was
Yeah.
talking about, but which is not like a choir that big is not always a thing in Jurassic scores, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
But also like I also hope there are some synths brought back too, because I wanted fresh stuff, but Giacchino used some cool synths in Dominion that were fun. So like synths are always belonging in a Jurassic score. But let's talk about the video announcement though. Like,
Sure.
what did you think? And then this is for everybody, but like, what did you think about the video? What did you think about the music inside of it? And also, the front page of that instrument part with the Q title of opening lab. Like, what did you think about that?
Yeah.
I
I
wonder if
miss
that,
Gacino's his exotic names, his puns. That's something I will miss. Opening
so
lab was a little bit boring, wasn't it, compared to what we had on the previous soundtracks?
It's so funny you say that, because like I've been talking to people about this composer announcement, and like I've heard both sides. I've heard people say like, oh, I'm so glad we aren't going to get those silly Giacchino titles anymore. But then I've heard other people who are like what you just said, are like, oh, I miss the fun. I miss the interesting titles. I'm kind of in the middle. I like the fun titles, but go on.
Me too.
Sorry.
Sorry, Byron, I jumped in before you went to speak.
Oh no.
We're all so
I didn't-
polite.
I know. I'm too scared to talk
I
about
am one of the people that I'm kind of glad that the puns aren't coming back. Although
there
some
we
of
go.
them were funny, but some of them became a real mouthful to actually say. Like, if you actually wanted to say to someone, my favorite cue is this one, and you're saying something like, world's worst
True.
something, it's like a tongue twister.
You know, he does that intentionally too. He's like, someone out there becomes this tongue twister.
I actually on that. Sorry, I remember there was an unreleased cue for the first Jurassic World, which had the title of like "I just kicked giraffes" or something like that.
Yeah, or something.
Nice.
Like
That was
yeah.
the only title where I was like, peculiar.
Nice.
There was like a track at the end of Dominion as well. It was called like Larry Moe and something. And
Curly.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not old
Three
enough to
Stooges.
understand the reference.
An American reference.
I don't know it. I don't understand that.
It's
at all.
so those are the Three Stooges.
Okay.
What's that? What's the entire? Now we're gonna really get off on a tangent here for a second. But what's that? What's that? Is that the entire name of the queue? Is it Larry, Moe, and Curly or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Gonna
Well,
have
and there's one that's like, Oh, isn't it like Larry, Curly, and Mo is all caps? Isn't that what it is, or something like that?
Something like
This is so random. I'm sorry, but the mo I think the MOE is capitalized because it means
Yeah, it
main
is.
on end.
I just looked it up. It is.
Oh,
I think is what that's supposed to mean.
It's supposed to mean what?
and
Sorry, I missed that.
Larry, Curly, and Mo are the Three Stooges, and I think that's like a joke about the big Jurassic 3 being involved. I think, but I don't know.
right.
But then the Mo is capitalized because it stands for main on end, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So that, I mean, that kind of thing is clever. Like I appreciate that, I guess. But anyway, thoughts about a little Giacchino tangent. We couldn't. There's no way we were avoiding that. But Byron, I think you were next to, or someone.
Sure.
I'm not sure who was talking about their thoughts on the Desplat
take it.
video and the music in it and the page of the instrument part. All your thoughts on that video.
Yeah, I mean, for the page, I don't have too many thoughts, but I just want to see more. Like, just looking at the session and like, you can really feel the passion when he speaks, right? Even going back to his previous interviews and stuff, like, I think he really gets it from the little demo we heard, and even like the little action bit at the end. There's like trumpets where they're like da da da, and that's exactly what you would hear Williams do in like I think Raiders. When he's like chasing the jeeps and stuff. That's super Williamsy. So I don't know. I'm just excited. I think he's gonna do a really good job.
Absolutely.
I think
Brooks,
safe
Kurt,
hands
whoever's
is
next.
the best way to word him. You know, when we talk about
Yeah.
being relieved, having people that we would have wanted, people that we didn't want, and then him popping up, it's like, okay, it's in safe hands. We know he's going to do a great job. And I think the clip that we
Absolutely.
got with it kind of cemented that as well. It kind of quelled any worries we might have had. Like, is this guy up to scratch? Especially people who may not be too familiar with his work.
Yeah.
I thought
Right.
it seemed odd the way they'd kept it so quiet for such a long time, and then it just popped up
Yeah.
like out of nowhere. There was no kind of build up to it, or yeah, it was very, very strange. I mean, every week we'd say another week has gone, and we don't know.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. We were like, well, maybe it'll be next week.
I think
No music
It's been
in this movie.
84 years.
Yeah.
I think many of us had tweeted at Universal as well, jokingly saying, "Announce the composer."
Frank Marshall got just sick and tired of everyone like
Barraged.
Sorry, Frank.
Yeah. I think the video I think it was very well, for one, just mean, obviously it's very well produced, but the video also showcasing a lot of the orchestra and, composing nerds like us, we like to see that stuff and like to pick apart, like how, if there are there gobos being used, stuff like weird stuff like that. And on certain posts, it's like, or I guess I should say on like shots where sections aren't used, my brain went racing of like, oh man, what's the low brass section like? What are all the percussion bips and bops that are in the back behind the winds? Like also the clarinets. Oh, that's weird. There's a separate contrabass clarinet. It's stuff like that where you can really pick apart certain things like that. And in that first page, the lab open title, there's even instrumentation that you see in there notating what flute player also plays alto and piccolo, and some weird ones like first flute also doubles.
Okay, I'm glad you're saying
Piccolo,
that
which
because
is-
I was looking at those instructions and I was like, that's kind of like they're sort of normal,
It's
but they're kind of
weird.
weird. So
Right. There's an E flat clarinet in there somewhere, and then also just like referencing any instrumentation to the first movie. I'm very curious to see if that was in the thought process of doing something fresh, but referring to any previous instrumentation and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
also synths, yes, please.
the Jurassic Park score really likes its clarinets. So
Oh,
yeah. Kurt, did you have any thoughts on the video?
Well, I'm happy that so I had it in my mind that they were gonna go for somebody who I'm glad they didn't pick a composer who's more like more on the end of hybrid orchestra. Like, I don't want to offend anybody by saying like Junkie XL or, in my mind, like Hans Zimmer. Personally,
Personally,
so
I'm with you, so I know what you mean. So
I'm glad they stuck to like a more traditional
I'm moving my mic. Sorry about that.
composer like Desplat. And the demo that was played in that article, it doesn't really like, I can't, so I don't have much knowledge on Desplat's music other than Godzilla and like Harry Potter, but it doesn't sound much like his other stuff. It sounds more like he's tailoring it to sound more like John Williams to me. I don't know if anyone hears that. The, like you said, the trumpets, they sound straight up from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
yeah,
And there's a section that's I think Daryl pointed out on Twitter where with the strings. It's the very opening of the demo. It sounds like it's ripped straight from Jurassic Park or Jurassic Park 3 even. Like with the choral, the choir.
yeah.
That reminds me of the Raptor Room
Oh yeah,
from
for sure.
Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So I'm glad they've got him. He's a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a really solid choice. And what you just said kind of takes me into like what I want to talk about next, which is like, where do you guys think this music might be in the movie? What do you think it's describing? Because part of me realized, I was like, oh, maybe this music is the opening lab. Like maybe they were recording that day, and that's what we're hearing. But then like you talk about that part at the beginning with the strings, that's kind of feels like it's moving into a Jurassic theme. And I'm like, would that be in the would that be in a scary opening? Like I don't know, but what do you guys think? Where do you guys think that music might be, or what it's doing?
Well, do we know that the whole demo is from that cue? They might have
We
cut
don't.
some other tracks in there.
But like since somebody with a camera caught it on a music stand, I would just assume that that's what they were recording that day. But
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like it's potentially 3 different cues that have all been spliced together, pretty much. Because to me, the action cue that we got at the end, it's interesting because like it's big, but I don't think goofy is the quite the right word, but it's almost like
bombastic.
It's bombastic. I wouldn't necessarily expect it to be like music for like we're gonna die. Maybe something more like the raft
Or
chase,
or like
potentially,
running away from
where
something.
it's like, oh, we got to get to this place, we got to jump in this thing. Because to me, it's less like end of the movie, everything's gone bad. But it is interesting whether or not what we're hearing is what was reflected on the pages and stuff.
Yeah,
I haven't thought much about the placement of the music in it. I'll be honest, I haven't really looked into the music in the video as much as I think the rest of you have, because actually I don't know why there's a because in that sentence. It's weird that I haven't done that, but I can't explain.
I only watched the video like 100 times on the day it was released. So
I probably watched it 20 or so times. I don't know. It's
rookie numbers.
It's fun to. I don't know why I'm lying, because obviously I'm more focused on the orchestra.
Breakdown of the orchestra.
Yeah.
You'd worked out.
Yeah.
This is true.
Don't
There
lie.
is, yeah. I can't hide things. No, I think it's an interesting idea with like the mutants and finding that quality of like the Raptor Room and that like more the visceral, serene high strings and harp and synth bed, things in the first Jurassic that really hasn't shown itself, I think, since 3, where you can play with that sound. And I wonder if that is how they're showcasing the mutants, with that more like soft kind of ethereal sound. So as someone who hasn't looked into the audio side of the video, that's my side of the coin. That's my speculation.
Well, the Jurassic Park, the inciting incident had a lot of choral elements
true.
to it. So if it's
Right.
trying to copy that kind of, well, I mean, in the demo it wasn't as like bombastic, but maybe they're going for the same kind of thing.
some
That'd be really Sorry, I was just gonna say, I think that'd be a really fun quote if
Oh,
like the
yeah.
birth of a mutant is that original like boom and then the choir rise. I think that'd be a really interesting way to kind of recontextualize that cue.
No, seriously.
We're rescoring the movie. Sorry, Desplat.
No,
Sorry.
great points, both of you. Like, because there's also some synths in that opening of Jurassic Park.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'd be interesting. But like quoting, he was taught, Desplat, however French we're gonna be today. He was talking in the interview, in the video, in the article about sort of paying homage to John Williams and quoting his themes and doing that sort of thing. It would be, where do you guys think? Do you think there's going to be a lot of John Williams Jurassic Park themes in Rebirth, or do you think it's just going to be sort of, only at times that really need it? So maybe like 2 or 3 times in the film. Like, do you think it's going to be sparse, or how are you guys feeling about that?
That's a good question because
MG
go ahead,
needs
sorry.
to be more than MG, than
More
Michael
than MG?
Giacchino, but less than Don Davis. Don Davis
Less than Don
I
Davis.
was gonna say
Don
the
Davis
same.
was more Williams than Williams at times.
That's true. That's funny.
Out Williamsing the original.
Yeah, I
agree with
mean, I think it also, to me, sort of just depends like how much it's actually warranted. Like, we hear in every TV spot and trailer about how this is the lab for the original Jurassic Park. So like,
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna just like directly musically tie to that too. But
Well, see, that was
That's
the
a good
thing.
idea.
Actually, it's one of my issues with I think Fallen Kingdom is that I feel like the placement for cues throughout the movie left me being a little bit like, okay. And I think with referencing the original material, yeah, I hope that it respects where that music was used, because we have things like Journey to the Island or the original theme for Jurassic Park where we have associations with that music, right? And so I trust both Gareth and Alexander to place it in a way where it's going to hopefully make a lot of sense and make us feel nostalgic and happy and yay.
yeah, because that's what we want, right?
I just want them to bring back the jawbone because that's been missing. That's been missing from every Jurassic score since the original.
I think I feel like it would be pretty difficult to place the iconic, the Journey to the Island theme in this movie from the context of the plot of what we've heard, because it sounds like it's going to be a darker film, and the main theme is so like uplifting.
My counterpoint to that is in the original movie, in the bungalow, and then also in the Lost World when they're in San Diego, the island theme is often referenced
in a minor
like
key,
really kind of in minor keys and stuff. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if we get that, but I'm not expecting them to like directly quote "Journey to the Island," the full original thing. Yeah, but because that is a good point.
I'm hoping we do get like a new island theme, like the Lost World did.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah,
It'd be cool if it was like a these are versions of the dinosaurs before they were quote unquote perfected by Wu. So it'd be interesting if the themes utilized are, what's the word? Versions of the themes before they're
that's good.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
the real official themes. I'm trying
ancestors
to
ancestors of the themes.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know. Genetic ancestors.
we need a translator for me. No, but and I wonder if they're even going to use the classic Predator theme, or if they're going to run things off of that. Because it seems, I mean, thinking about it, MG, I like that, Daryl. I'm stealing that. His Indominus theme is it's almost like an offshoot. It's like an evolution of it.
Is.
I think that was
So I
one
wonder-
of his best as well.
That actually blended well with the. No, I think he did do the Predator theme in. There's a shot
Dominion.
in Dominion, where they're all
Really?
together after the Giganotosaurus attacks them.
Yeah, he does the
Before the Giganotosaurus.
he does the Williams Predator theme and then the Giacchino Indominus
Yeah.
theme back to back.
Together,
Ah.
yeah. I really liked that when I was watching it in cinema. That was so good.
So maybe in Rebirth we'll get the Williams Predator theme, the Giacchino Indominus theme, and then a new Predator motif, all back to back.
Probably. Ooh, that's
I'm
a
down
great
for that.
like sidebar question: are we seeing any MG themes return? Is
That was kind of where I was going next, I think, is, do
has
we
to be a
think some
nod.
Giacchino themes are going to come back? How much do you think
Well,
they would?
It's interesting that it's called Jurassic World Rebirth and not Jurassic Park Rebirth. Because if it's Jurassic World Rebirth, it's more in continuity. You would think it's more in continuity with Jurassic World, and that they would be more inclined to bring Giacchino's themes over than the Jurassic Park themes. But yeah, it'd be I don't know though. What do you think? Other than the main theme that Giacchino brought into it?
Yeah, like I'm thinking about like the family theme from that first movie. I cannot imagine that coming back. But like as the Jurassic World turns and stuff, I feel like in passing that could be a fun little. Oh, that's right. I remember that.
some quotes here and there.
Yeah.
There was a. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to say that's
Oh.
kind of like my thinking on it at the moment, I guess, is like since this movie is also called World, I guess it would make sense to bring back that main theme with that logic, but I don't know. I feel like if we had to put a percentage on it, I think I have a feeling there's going to be more Williams than Giacchino. How do y'all feel about that ratio? Do y'all feel like that's probably accurate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There was a part in the Battle at Big Rock where Amy Doherty,
Doherty,
yeah, love
she
her score.
brought
absolutely.
back
Incredible.
the family. Is it the family theme? No. Well, she brought that back. It's the
she
main
uses
theme,
the
right?
main theme, yeah.
Yeah. But it was in like a really light moment. It wasn't like all out there. But they could do something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Daryl, Williams themes, Giacchino themes, are they coming back?
Yeah, well, I think we'll probably hear more Williams than Giacchino. I do think he will have to have a nod to the Jurassic World theme, as we've all said now. The Jurassic World is in the title, but based on Desplat says in the video that John Williams is his idol, and there seems to be there was no mention of Jurassic World before that or Michael Giacchino. He went straight for Williams. So I think we maybe get a nod, but I think we'll hear more Williams. But I don't want to kind of get myself too excited for lots of Williams, because that's what I did with the previous trilogy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I was actually on initial listening on the Jurassic World soundtrack. I was so disappointed when I first heard it.
Yeah.
It sounds awful to say. I can say it now. It came out 10 years ago. I was so disappointed when I first heard it. I was like, well, this isn't Jurassic. This doesn't sound like Jurassic. Now I love it. I do love it now. It's nostalgic. It's been long enough. It works. And it is great in the movie. But I don't want to hype it up. Like, yeah, we're going to get a lot of John Williams. And then we don't. And I don't want to disappoint myself. So,
Yeah.
Well,
I do think we'll get a nod.
I was listening to his Harry Potter scores, trying to as a comparison, because since that he's following John Williams in that franchise, and I was trying to find where does he use, see if he uses the Hedwig theme or any of the others, and I couldn't actually find any. Just skimming through it, I think there's one part, and I think it's in the extended score where he uses Hedwig's theme and it feels really John Williamsy, but the rest is quite different, I think, overall.
But the films were as well, though. I think the final two Harry Potter films were a lot darker. It got darker and darker, didn't it?
I feel like he uses they did one of two things. Desplat wrote Hedwig's theme into the score in those places, or they probably had the very real option of music editing it in with John Williams stuff, because in those last two Harry Potter flicks there's lots of consequential nostalgic stuff where we need those big main themes. Yeah, but I feel like Hedwig's theme is the only big one he really brings back in those scores, but I don't know. So what I was gonna say though is that I think Desplat will take a slightly different approach than Giacchino to using Williams themes, just because he's his own composer and he has his own styles. Because I think to me, it's awesome that Desplat is conducting all of this. Desplat is orchestrating all of this. Like not every composer does that. And so
True.
I just feel like we're gonna get something really unique. Do you guys feel that way?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think he will bring back the Spinosaurus, like the little motif that from the Don Davis soundtrack?
I'm trying. You're quizzing me. I'm trying to like hum that somehow, but I don't think I can.
It's the dun 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 dun.
Oh yes.
So like
that would be epic if that happened.
I mean, I know
You
these.
could have the Predator theme from the first one, then Don Davis, then Kino's, and then his new one.
It's the Avengers, sort of.
Man, that's a good. Y'all are. This is not what this podcast is about, but y'all are making me want to watch Jurassic Park 3. Like,
That was the goal.
no, if he, there's all the discourse, let's call it, about the Spinosaurus. Some folks don't like it, some folks do. To each their own. But like, what if Desplat brought back that little motif with the Spinosaurus? That'd be crazy. So,
Would it work with a new design, or would they be thinking
For
about?
me,
that's the question.
I'd need something different.
I
'cause,
want,
like, I'm a
as much as I sound
I
excited,
love-
but
yeah.
I want something fresh.
I
and new.
love the JP3 design, and I don't want to say it would feel revisionist, but to assign like a totally new design to that theme without any changes, I'd be a little bit like, "Ugh."
I
but-
gotcha.
I don't know. I'm still down for it. I'm
Maybe-
still get up and clap.
Maybe it could just be the theme for that species in the franchise whenever it appears, but I don't know.
That's a better way to look at it.
What did they do in Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory? Because I haven't actually watched all the way through those, but does the soundtrack for that reference those?
I would have to
ideas?
go back.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does, but I would have to go back and watch. But
I mean, Leo's like motifs in there and quotes are very, I don't want to say minimal, but like whenever they're there, you notice them, and I'd really notice the Spino motif.
yeah,
I feel like
they're quite Williams when Leo quotes in Camp Cretaceous. It's usually Williams stuff, but
Are they allowed to do it often? Because I feel like in expanded media, especially like the games, it's like
it just
bit of a no-no.
It just depends, like how much the production wants to pay for licensing. And
Oh yeah,
all that stuff.
The royalties. and
Which on a feature film, you're gonna be
Yeah.
able. The composer's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
able to do whatever they need to do, but.
Alexander, no, too expensive.
Yeah. So
Universal said no.
I mean, it's John Williams. He's like the Beatles of film music, and
Sure.
if you have some free time, go look up how much it costs to license the Beatles,
Oh.
because it's a
Yikes.
lot. So Desplat also said in the interview that he had a theme for the family group and a theme for Scarlett Johansson's group of mission merc folks, her team.
Right.
So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, does that excite you to like I'm wondering how many themes outside of that there are going to be also, but like what does that make you guys think about those themes?
It's kind of Jurassic Park 3-ish, isn't it? Where you
Oh,
have
yeah,
the family
yeah.
theme, you have the Jurassic-y themes, and the island theme, and then you have the
Like the military Bone Man band type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that theme. That's so good.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, the family theme in JP3
yeah,
is
so
the best. It's great.
I was so scared that I copied that theme on accident when starting on Tales. Lucy Brown's theme is very similar, but thankfully I did not.
So that
One-to-one copy.
that theme, I will make the argument. I don't know when the last time y'all listened to the Dominion score was, but that family theme or a piece of it shows up when Malcolm rescues Ellie and Alan and Maisie from the Dimetrodons.
Really?
Didn't
A
notice that.
little piece of it does.
with the code on the door at the door. At the
Well,
gate.
it's in the score, but like it just goes ba-da-da-da-da, or something.
Oh wait, yeah, I do
Oh.
remember
does something
that.
like that.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So
No,
anyway.
I never
Wow.
noticed that until you just said. Wow.
The-
I watched that movie once. Now I have to go back and watch it.
yeah. Well, I noticed it and I was like, holy shit!
I
Jurassic
can't believe
Park
I didn't
3.
even notice that.
Deep cut. That's awesome.
It's like when you use the Lost World theme for the one shot of the raptor in Jurassic World.
That was so it's so funny how like I know it's cool and everything, but it's just like it starts and you're like getting hyped and then it stops.
And then it's done.
That's what I feel like Michael Giacchino does that a lot.
So
in
the Giacchino and Dominion tangent count is now at like 5, which is great.
Drinking game.
But when the
out.
Lost World theme hit under Blue charging at the Indominus, that blew my mind. I was like, why is this here?
It blew your mind.
Yes. Blew
the raptor.
Yeah.
You missed the pun there. We've had that on the album.
I think so. Do you think, I feel like ScarJo's team's theme is going to be sort of like militaristic and adventurous and that, brassy sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then the family theme is, maybe it's got some adventure in it, but it also maybe is like sweet and
more
childlike, maybe, since we're dealing with teenagers and kids here.
I know there's a love triangle, right?
Oh,
with the mercenaries.
That's been like mentioned
maybe
offhand, about like
maybe there's like a Indy and what's the character's name?
Oh, was it Marion?
Yeah.
Oh,
that sort of.
Yeah, I call it the Thinking of Marion theme. Yeah,
love it.
Ah.
Yeah. If you want to get into like film music nerd stuff, because it doesn't always happen when Marion's on screen. It happens when Indy is thinking about her too. So,
True.
Interesting.
Anyway, what do you guys think about those themes? And what other themes do you think we might see in this film? Because I think we're going to get a mutant theme.
For sure.
Yeah, just to jump in real quick, I think the idea of having human themes is very firmly Jurassic, so like that sounds great.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think that would definitely be a mutant motif of sorts. Daryl bringing up the idea of the new island theme is really quite interesting. Because I think it's the first time, apart from Sauna, I mean, that's the only other island we've really explored in the films. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think for like new?
Is it definitely a brand new island? Like, is it confirmed that it's like?
Yes.
Seems so.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
I feel like it would be a shame to not do a new one for this.
Yeah.
If they're really
I agree.
making this like the original testing grounds for InGen, it needs its own. Like, that's a big thing. It needs its own identity.
Needs to be ominous.
Yeah.
I think I can see it going one of two ways. Either they reprise the original Jurassic Park stuff for the island, or it is new, maybe referential of the OG island stuff, or it's entirely brand new. So I guess 3 ways. But I think with the 2 human themes, that'll help also keep track of the story, keeping tabs on who we're with. If especially if in editorial we're going back and forth a lot, might get confusing. So it's cool to hear that there's narrative shifts in the music with that as well.
Yeah.
I know the mutant theme is going to be nasty with display. He can make some weird noises, and I think that'll be really cool to see if what he's doing.
Yeah, I hear all that low brass in the Godzilla score, and I'm like, yes, more, bring that back. Give us that again.
There's a part in the fight where the brass goes crazy that I love, that I hope he brings into this film.
If any film calls for like crazy brass that you come onto as a composer, like Jurassic, I think is one that you can say, yeah, this calls for that crazy brass.
Big brass, low winds, jawbone. Come on.
We haven't heard a jawbone for so long.
That's what I'm saying.
Did it even come back in The Lost World? I don't remember.
Maybe.
We haven't had a Zerna in a while. I want one of those. Like, that in the original Jurassic Park score is one of my favorite parts. That zany woodwind. But
Well, I hope he wrote down all these on a list on what he needs to bring back, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of disappointed people.
Yeah, we got he's Santa composer, and we just got a lot of requests.
Right.
So what would you all say that you want out of the Rebirth score from Desplat? Like, what are your expectations? Like, what styles, what, all of that type of thing. What do you want out of the Rebirth score?
I think for me, I mean, I said earlier that I was quite harsh at the beginning with Michael Giacchino when he first came on his first soundtrack. I'm learning from my mistakes on that now. I think if he calls back on a bit more the Williams stuff than Giacchino did, and I think it's not just about using it; it's using it in the right places. Don't just throw it in anywhere. If he uses it well and he brings something new, I think that I'd be very, very happy with that. We all know like he's very capable. But this is a fresh start, so hopefully he does. It's kind of a balancing act, isn't it? Because you don't want him going just keep calling back on World or Park constantly. Where it's just the same themes. You want to hear new stuff. So getting that balance between how much he uses, I think, is going to be really important. And with the new stuff, I'm actually really excited at the prospect of these 3 new themes, because I think the way Don Davis did that in Jurassic Park 3 was fantastic. Jurassic Park 3 is probably my second favourite soundtrack out of the whole franchise.
Nice.
It's so varied as well, like in terms of just the range of the expression. It's awesome.
I'm hoping that...
Yeah, I think...
Oh, you go, sorry.
After you, please.
I was just going to say, I was hoping there's not too much of a reliance on like ostinato writing, because I feel like Michael Giacchino sort of like
MG.
there were some tracks where it would just go on and on with the same
True.
like string ostinato pattern, whereas Williams and Don Davis, the music was always so energetic and like free flowing, and it never sat on one idea like for too long. But I don't think Desplat will do that. If you really from what he's done before, it sounds more like in line with John Williams, and he sounds more classical in that sense than Giacchino does.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like Desplat really doesn't do the ostinato writing in that way that you're talking about that Giacchino did, a little excessively at times. So, yeah, I don't feel like we're at risk of that with Desplat too much. I don't know, it feels much more chaotic and free in the stuff even in that video. So
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at the end, like with the action piece.
Yeah. Yeah, the demo definitely sounded on the right tracks for sure.
Yeah, Byron, you have a puppy behind you.
I do. Sorry, she's been breathing in my face this whole time.
Oh, what is its name?
Yeah, that's Cookie, my golden retriever.
Oh,
She
Cookie!
is 11 years old now.
Wow.
Oh my!
What a beautiful creature.
Yeah, I'm very happy she hasn't been barking this entire time.
Yeah, she almost blends into that couch.
Good camouflage, right?
Hey, it's
she can camouflage.
Yeah, she's part Indominus. Yeah. But
I'll leave.
Anyway, whoever wanted to go next about what you want out of the Rebirth score.
Man, it's tough because I so want to say like I want everything I love, but I also want something new.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I mean, after Godzilla, and just to praise that film score even more, I think that was a really good showcase of like, that was a movie where you have pre-existing themes that people wanted to see. But as somebody who wasn't really into Godzilla at the time and it was completely new, I thought that score was fantastic for all the new stuff that it offered. I thought it really evoked at least the themes and the kind of sonic imagery that I would associate with something like Godzilla.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so to have somebody who made that come to the Jurassic franchise, I just hope they said, "Look, man, just cook,
Yeah.
just do something, please," because that's what I want. After like, I love all these movies. I love the Jurassic World scores. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is a very unique opportunity to hopefully have all the filmmakers involved just make something cool.
Yeah, like even though they haven't worked on Jurassic together before, they have the relationship from working together before,
Yes.
and I think that's a really good thing. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great point, Byron, especially with Godzilla. I think that I share the same sentiment of we all want something new, but also something that has everything that we love about Jurassic and, you know, paying homage to Williams and what came before. But I think to your point, yeah, it's like you have the ingredients of what made the scores we love great. If you take those ingredients, you can still make something fresh. And I think, but yeah, like you said, with Godzilla, you have the vibes, the tone, everything you think of when you think of that IP, and he made something memorable and fresh. And when I think of Desplat, I think of fresh. So I think that will be likely as the outcome. But I think we'll hear a lot of familiar. I think it'll be familiar but new. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm wanting out of it.
I get that. It's a new meal with the same ingredients.
Exactly.
Just thinking how we all sound like Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Just right.
Not too much.
Well,
new,
we will.
just in the middle.
We'll find out if we like these ingredients in July, in less than 2 months. So,
as long as there's a jawbone,
We'll have to do a follow-up.
that's the last
Everyone
time
will
we'll
talk
talk
about
about
reaction.
honestly, we will have to do a follow up and kind of talk about what we think about the score and the movie and everything. That's a really good idea.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Ask me in 10 years.
yeah, 10 years from now, what will we think about all this?
soundtrack release delayed.
Oh gosh.
Whoa.
That second trailer needs to come out.
Yeah, I think, as of this recording on May 7th, I think the second trailer is coming soon. So,
I hope so.
We'll see. I don't know. But Byron Brooks, like both of those points about, new meal, same ingredients, that was a great point. So, I'm really excited for this movie. Are you guys excited for this movie, just in general?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more excited for this than I was Dominion. I think because Dominion followed World and then Fallen Kingdom, and it was like this one's like a new one, it's like a brand new, like not starting from scratch, but like reboot, and so I'm more excited for this one.
Yeah, I mean, and we've kind of had that conversation on previous episodes of this podcast about how this is kind of like the new trilogy. So, would you all let's hypothetically say that this is a trilogy and we build it out? Would you all want Desplat to stick around and score the entire trilogy?
I think it depends on how this first one sounds.
Okay, that's valid. That's valid.
There are worse outcomes.
Yeah,
That is
that's
true.
true.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now my answer is yes. I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Does he stick around for sequels?
That's a good question. Honestly, I guess
So just the two Harry
he did
Potters.
those two Harry Potters. Yeah.
I wonder if he was originally going to
Why
come
not?
back for Godzilla, but I wonder what the plan was there. Because they
don't know.
replaced him, didn't they? With
Because
Very
Gareth
good.
didn't do the second one either, did he?
was he
Yeah,
going to?
yeah.
Yes, he was. I remember that.
Really?
And then the tide shifted. Yeah.
Yeah, the MonsterVerse
As soon
took
as-
off into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
The
different
music
direction.
for the MonsterVerse has gone. It's like
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
They have not stuck to one.
That's true.
One like
Yeah.
type of composer.
Bear McCreary. Who else?
Junkie XL.
Junkie
Straight to
XL.
Junkie XL. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Bear. I
Send me his
mean,
name.
on
solid
Henry Jackman.
solid scores. I think I liked Bear's score a little more, but
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I actually really liked. I
Desplat.
feel like it would be
Agree.
good if they set the first movie's Godzilla theme as their MonsterVerse theme and not like switch again to the Toho.
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah.
Because they had something good.
That's-
and they just feels like
Initially, that's what Bear was going to do.
Really?
He did a talk where he played a demo of Desplat's theme, and once Toho gave them the thumbs up for the Ifukube themes,
no way.
that's what shifted that tide.
Damn.
And
I had
I guess
no idea.
once Toho said no more, then XL had to throw his hat in.
So, just to take us back in a Desplat direction, I guess.
Sorry.
No problem at all. The InGeneral podcast is a tangent podcast. All good. That's what we're here for. It's a Jurassic tangent podcast. So one of my favorite movies is The Shape of Water, and Alexandre Desplat did the score for that movie. Have you guys seen that movie? Heard that score? How do you feel about
Numerous
it?
times. Yes.
Wait, I'm listening to it right now.
Makes me cry every time.
Because what that represents to me, another one is like Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Like that's a really unique Desplat score. What those represent to me is like, I think Desplat is gonna do some weird stuff in Rebirth. At least I hope so. Weird as far as like orchestra goes, or weird maybe as far as Jurassic is concerned, maybe.
Yeah.
And that just really excites me. So that I think that's what excites me most about him as a composer, is just knowing like his Wes Anderson work and all the weird stuff he does for that, and The Shape of Water. And so now we're getting
He's
a
not
Jurassic
like
score.
the typical blockbuster composer, is he? He's
Not necessarily, yeah. So I mean,
That's what
he
I
did
kinda like
Godzilla, I guess, but that was
Well,
was
that's exactly
ages
what made
ago,
him so
yeah.
interesting about Godzilla as well, because he wasn't that Hans Zimmer pick, right? It was like,
yeah.
let's do something interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think I really think we're in for something solid here. I think we're in for a treat, honestly. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be fresh and new and the whole thing. So before we get out of here, any final thoughts on Desplat as a composer for Rebirth? Just Rebirth in general. Final thoughts.
The question I would want to ask everyone is, do you think he was the first on board?
Oh, that's a good question.
Interesting question for sure.
We talked about how long before they announced a composer. We all had different ideas, and there was a lot of speculation. But
Yeah.
and also, I think Brooks brought up earlier that this is the first time that Gareth Edwards has circled back to work with someone. Is that because the first person fell flat, or?
Well, and maybe it was a situation where like it didn't really fall flat, but like they reached out to somebody else and they said no, or like there was scheduling issues or health issues, if you catch my drift. Like, so I mean, maybe something like that happened. But like, if it was someone else before Desplat, like, who do we think they would have gone to first? Do we think they went to John Williams or someone else?
Since they
Part
were
of me thinks they did.
Yeah.
they were hiring up
Part of me thinks they did.
David Leitch, the director before. I
Yeah,
wonder
when
what
he was the
his
director.
pick would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, who's it? He has a guy he goes with every time.
He works with is it David Holmes? I don't know. I might be making that up.
Younger guy.
But he has a guy
He
who he collaborates with frequently. So like, yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, who would it have if David Leitch was the director? Who would the composer be? But
And to that point, they've been so surgical about this movie, so specific. I mean, they once the script was done, they were really protective of it, and when finding their director, I think they were really intentional of who they wanted, and that's why Leitch isn't on board anymore. So with that, it's like the reason why I think they did potentially ask John and potentially even wait for him for if he was in a health spat, is that because if you're doing a rebirth and you're trying to rebrand, and he rarely comes back for sequels, but if he says if the story grabs him, then he's back. So maybe there was a weird complication there, or if it was someone else, it's hard to tell.
yeah.
But it is, I think, interesting that with Edwards and Desplat returning, that seems pretty intentional. It is just weird that they held out on an announcement for so long without any form of marketing or any form of
Very unusual.
no words
Anything.
were out. Saying Jurassic World Rebirth composer.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Wasn't Desplat picked by John Williams for Harry Potter? Because I think
don't know.
Don Davis was suggested by John Williams, wasn't he? I think
I would be interesting to know for sure. So yeah, I don't know.
It's like Chiquino was handpicked by Spielberg after
the video game.
what is it? Medal of Honor.
Yeah. Well,
We've
and
also done the Lost World.
yeah, the Lost World video games. Something I always like to bring up is that Gareth Edwards directed Rogue One, which, and there's some conversation around that, but that movie was supposed to be scored by Alexandre Desplat, but Michael Giacchino replaced him and had like a month to write the score. And it's just funny to me that Gareth Edwards is directing Rebirth, and Michael Giacchino was kind of the guy who had done Jurassic World and was sort of an expectation for this movie at one point.
Yeah.
And Desplat came in to quote unquote replace him. Not really replace him.
Come full circle.
It's
Full circle.
Full circle. It's a rebirth. It's a rebirth.
Very good.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining this episode of the InGeneral podcast. It's been a great discussion. I'm really excited for Desplat, and it feels like generally that's how we feel about it. And so I can't wait to hear this score and see this movie. And we'll definitely do a follow-up episode and talk about how we feel about this afterwards. And, we'll have to listen back to this and see how correct we were about things. So, before we get out of here, let's go around and start with Daryl, I suppose. Where can everybody find you? What are you working on? Just tell everybody.
Oh, I can't tell people what I'm working on currently.
Well, that is telling people what you're working on.
You guys can see on screen what I'm working on because it's on my t-shirt. But,
Oh, I see.
Whoa, Jurassic World 8.
It's the Rebirth sequel. But it's already
Yeah,
started.
totally.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, all the usual places, and it's just my full name, Daryl Leland, not Leyline.
At Daryl Leland. Whoever wants to go next. Where can we find you? What are we working on?
You can find me, Byron Mackay, on Twitter or Blue Sky. I think that's all I have right now. It's just usually my full name. I don't think there's anyone else with my name. I hope so.
Kurt, I know you're staring at me.
Kurt Tomlinson Compositions on YouTube is my main thing. I'm working on a video game, and that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say for now.
Does this video game have dinosaurs in it?
No.
Aw.
I wish.
Wah, wah. That's exciting.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Brooks Libby. I'm that one. There's not many like me. So that sounds conceited.
Hell yeah.
But I'm out there. Tales from a Jurassic World later in May.
Yeah, there you go.
All
guy.
bones is his banner picture.
That's about it.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to episode 153 of the InGeneral podcast, the Composer episode. And there will be the Composer episode, the sequel, in July sometime, probably. So watch out for that. Leave a comment down below. Thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.